Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, and some interesting conversations happening around this based on, things that Nintendo is doing. And so we're gonna talk about that and then kind of whatever we want. Whatever we want. So I see Hay is here. What's going on? Welcome on in. Good to see you. Ink Goblin is here. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Hope you guys are all doing amazing. You guys jumping in right away. I do appreciate it. And you know, it's it's again, we're looking at like pretty slow news day. Like it's all pretty it's what I'm calling it's maybe the calm before the storm a little bit. I think there's a bit of a calm before the storm because I think we got, Pokemon happening and what. I see Joey is here. What's going on? Welcome on in. Good to see you. So to start off, we can look at we'll take a look at a few of the different headlines that we got going on right now. I'll share the screen here. We'll get this open. So let's see. Get over to the right, the correct scene. There it is. You got that Xenoblade X. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So starting off with a rumor, Monster Hunter Wilds Switch 2 port is coming. A fresh data mine suggests. Uh Necrofelipe put out a post on Blue Sky and basically so I saw this earlier and or I saw it yesterday. And like basically there was some things hinting at a Switch version, but then they all got taken down except for the picture that you're seeing right here, which shows four hunters holding the Switch 2, holding the Switch 2. So, uh it it looks like it's going to happen, you know? It looks like it's going to happen. So, hey, I see we got Mitch. Is Cheesy Johnny Bo and Crawler at Roundtable ever returning? I'm not sure. Honestly. I am not sure. I am planning on Thursday nights at this time doing more like one-on-one interviews. So um we are going to be oh, you know what? I bet I'm in the wrong. Oh, maybe not. Okay, perfect. So we will be doing we will we I will be doing some interviews again. And I am going to try to get those guys on periodically as well. So um we there will be something happening. So but yeah, welcome on in everybody. If you're just getting here. I see RX Gaming is here. Jason, did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. Al I don't is it A- Alcarez like Al like the prison? The I isn't I think that was the joke we had when we played some Mario Party, right? Alcatraz, I think. So, um yeah, but it's looking like Monster Hunter, and I mean, I think everybody kind of expected Monster Hunter Wilds to make its way to the Switch. What I find interesting about Monster Hunter Wilds, and I feel like the same was kind of true with Monster Hunter, I think it was World, right? The one that came out on Xbox and PlayStation and the and PC. I don't feel like I heard very much about it. Uh, like, but it was a fantastic game, right? Like I'm not saying because I didn't hear much about it that it wasn't good. I really don't feel like there's been much chatter about Rise from its launch other than kind of some negative stuff. So maybe this will breathe life into the series again, getting back on a Nintendo console. And you know, I really do hope it does. Like Monster Hunter is such a bittersweet series for me. Um, Most of you guys know that. my son passed away a couple years ago, and this was like our series. Like he learned Monster Hunter on the 3DS and then was like, "All right, dad, you are playing with me." And so we ended up getting a second Wii U so that we could play Monster Hunter 3, I believe, on that system. And so it's a series that I love, but it's tough going in and hunting without him now. So uh but from what I played of Rise, it was cool. I just know it hasn't run the best, so it makes me a little curious on how it's gonna do on Switch 2, since it didn't seem to run the best on some of the other systems. So we'll just have to wait and see. Let's see here. Mitch wants to know, what's your hype level for RE Requiem? Will you be buying it on Switch 2? I am I played it. I thought it was fantastic. Like it very much felt like Resident Evil, and um and so I think it's gonna be an incredible game. I only played as Grace. We didn't even know Leon was in the game at PAX West last year. And so like I think Resident Evil looks amazing. I'm not sure, like I might pick it up day one. What I'm finding for myself right now is I'm just not spending a ton of time gaming, and so it I just don't wanna get something that I'm not going to play. So so we'll see. I mean, Capcom always does some great sales and stuff, and actually, I've worked with Capcom in the past, so who knows? They might even send me a code for that one. So, but my hype levels are there. Like, I think it looks great. And it plays great. I just gotta make sure that, like, if I pick it up, I'm gonna put some time into it. And, uh, I yeah, with just with so much going on right now, and it's a particularly busy time for me with, just a lot of personal things that I'm dealing with as well. And so that's gonna make it even a bit more difficult for just when the game launches. But, I'm it's gonna be great, and it looks like it's running like a champ on the Switch too, so it's super, super cool. Really, really cool stuff there. So, let's see. Nintendo fan, do we love Monster Hunter? RX Gaming says, "Of course, you gotta love it. You gotta love it um, if you're a Nintendo fan, no question." Um, so it looks like, just like real quick here, the Doom's compatibility issue on Switch 2 has been resolved. So now it runs on the Switch 2. Not that there's any, it's just backwards compatible. That's it. No Switch 2 version yet. Yet. Who knows? Could still be coming. I wonder if they have a post about it. I didn't see it as I was scrolling earlier, but there were some sales numbers for Mario Tennis Aces, and so we can take a look at my Nintendo News here, um, and see. Let's see. Yeah, so here we go. This is from my Nintendo News. Japan, Nintendo Switch 2 sells 57,000 units, and Switch Family sells 26,000 units. The latest Japanese boxed video game software and hardware sales are now in for the week of February 9th to the 15th. The best selling video game hardware was on the Nintendo Switch 2, which sold 57,779 units, and the Nintendo Switch Family sold 26,481 units. The best-selling game was Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties on the PlayStation 5. Here's the bestsellers from the Land of the Rising Sun. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's a lot of bit of chatter about Mario Tennis Fever. So while it is number 2 for that week, it only moved 39,000 units. And you might say, well, that's not too bad, right? But Mario Tennis Aces on Switch 1 did like 122,000. So now I don't know if that was like within the first week or if that was lifetime. So it's still, has some time to get there potentially, but it it does seem low. It seems low. Now, this is this is physical only. This is only physical. So I'm not sure I'm not sure where like you got to remember it seemed like in Japan they don't get as worked up over physical as we do from what I've gathered. I could be mistaken, so, a grain of salt on this, but, like, I think even, like, we kinda looked into it a little bit, like, with the when the Switch 2 was getting announced and the pricing and game key cards and all that kinda stuff, and I don't know that they worry about that stuff as much as we do, and so I am curious on if, like, if there's a lot of digital sales, and of course we don't see those. So, if if that is the case, I mean, it could be the number is obviously higher than that, but the question is how much higher? Now, it's gotta be one of the best sports games that Nintendo has put well, I would say it's the best sports game since Aces because I think if I was gonna rank all 3, I think Aces is probably the best sports game, like, Mario sports title on the Switch, but the number is a little worrisome, and I'm curious on how, uh on how well it's it's going to do. So, uh, it seems like it one of the things that I'm happy about is that I I see plenty of people chatting about it on Twitter. I've seen people say that they keep playing against the same people in ranked, and so I find that kinda humorous, but I mean, there's people that have been, like, climbing the ranks and having a good time with it, but those numbers, like, I feel like what I need to do is go back and, like, maybe look at, like, what was Donkey Kong's first week like? What were some of the other Switch 2 games like, and how much better did they do from, from this, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know how I had to spend a bunch of time searching, and I don't wanna do that, so, um, but I am curious. I see some good questions here. Joey said, "Yeah, even when I'm losing online, I'm having fun and always want to get better." It 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 is a game that definitely it pushes you to wanna get better, no question there. Ink Goblin says, wonder if the price increase is affecting sales." Very possible. It is very possible. Nathan A says, "Feels like a given with impulse buys and almost a repeat, pattern of last console launch." Yeah, like and if I'm picking up what you're putting down, like, the lack of impulse buys, right? Yeah, yeah, so and Brandon says, "That's crazy." Dang, yeah. Yeah, but again, what's happening over there? Are more people buying digital than physical? What, how are they dealing with games when it comes to, how they're picking them up? Because like, I feel like, you know, sometimes they're living in smaller spaces, having less physical media means they don't have to store as much stuff, so digital is a bit more convenient. Nate says, "I've seen a couple Nintendo creators that are usually super positive and are, Nintendo over everything are super down on tennis." Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Hmm. I mean, yeah, it's it's obviously not like a I wouldn't think of it as like a system seller by any stretch of the imagination. It's like, it's like a filler game, but I think still has some legs and I think is still pretty fun, but it's not gonna be it's also not for everybody. Like there's no question there. So uh Brandon says, yeah, everyone I know with the Switch 2 personally are buying digital, even first party. And I mean, we've seen the numbers, right? Like I think it went from 50-50 to like two-thirds are digital at this point. So uh Ink Goblin says people keep expecting a robust campaign, but it's more of an arcade game. Yes, it 100% is, but and it. You guys have heard me say over and over again as we talked about this one, like, oh, they need to dangle the carrot. They need to have plenty of things to unlock and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I do think that is true, but this is just like good old fashioned fun for lack of a better term, right? Like jumping in and just playing the tennis is really fun. Like it's really well done. But how long do you keep doing that? Right? Like ranked matches, if you're into that kind of stuff and you want to sweat, I have a great time. And they're fast. You're talking about like 2 to 3 minutes and you're done with the match and you're back into the next one. So like they really knocked it out of the park with some aspects of this game. And so it'll be a shame if it doesn't do some decent numbers. But I am curious. I'm curious on how it's gonna do overall. So Nate says definitely not a system seller, but an expensive reprint of Aces in a different font. He said, in a sense. I mean, it's a lot of reused assets. There's no doubt. I mean, you guys heard me say, and I put out a video saying it too. Like, if this had been 49.99, I feel like it probably would have flew off the shelves. Like, probably would have just flown off the shelves. So you know, I think the price is a factor for sure, because how many how much how much time are you gonna put into it? Boo Mini says, "I'm very happy about the upgrade," talking about, Xenoblade. Love it. Jason says, "I never buy digital unless I have to. I used to buy digital until I it took up my Switch One's SD card and got full." Oh, yeah. Yes. Boo Mini says, "It looks a lot nicer." Ooh, I love that. I love that. So yeah, let's that kind of like I said, guys, it's been a relatively slow news day. We'll take a couple more just take a couple more peeks at the front page of My Nintendo News. Um there's a leak here that says a leaker says Chrono Trigger remake is already in development. That's interesting. I'm here for it. Uh Dustblood's advertisements are also now appearing online. Like we talked about how it could have a potential release date of the 27th. So maybe the marketing push is going to be like a 40-day, like a 40-day push and that's it. It seems a bit crazy, but you never know. So, uh Animal Crossing has an update. We can take a quick peek at the patch notes, but I'm sure it's not yeah, it's nothing. It looks like just your typical stability stuff. So, nothing major on that front. Um, but let's talk Xenoblade Chronicles because it has people talking. And while I'm like very excited that this game got an upgrade, I stopped playing in hope because I think it was data mined something about 4K. So it was like, oh, this is probably gonna be on Switch, on Switch 2. The conversation is this: why is it $5 for what was free to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, to Mario Odyssey, to Mario 3D World, Toad's Treasure Tracker, and a handful of other games? Why is this one $5? Now, it's only $5, right? And the other thing I've seen people say you know, Sony Sony has charged, double or triple for the same thing. Okay, like that's fine. Other arguments are you'll spend way more than this on a Fortnite skin that you won't get anything. Now, I'm like $5 isn't that big a deal for me. I'm like as far as like I'll just pay it because I want the better version. But where my issue is like where is the consistency? Like what you the company sets an expectation that like, hey, there are games that have free upgrades. One of them being Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but then now there's the Switch 2 edition. Now, maybe for them it's like they're not going to sell Switch 2 editions of Odyssey of and there's a physical version of Xenoblade Chronicles Nintendo Switch 2 edition coming out in April. And so maybe they want it in retail and when they're putting it in retail, you know, they're they're selling it for $5 more than what it was on Switch, but like I'm very curious on the whole thought process behind it, you know? So, um, Joey Pitt said variable pricing is so variable. Yes, yes, it is. Uh, Joey said because Wonder is 20. Yeah, Mario Wonder plus Bella Bell Park or whatever is going to be an $80 Switch 2 game. Crazy. So is Kirby in the Forgotten Lands. So, um, Jason says I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles yet. Is it a must? Yes, I think so. From a person who basically got into JRPGs because of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and has gone back and played 1, which was fantastic. 2 is probably my favorite. Uh X, from what I played, I've had a really good time with so far, and so I am excited to see what what it's looking like on Switch 2. But like I mentioned earlier, when you guys were asking about like, am I going to pick up Resident Evil and like I'm just looking at the backlog and I'm like, I don't want to like I definitely want to pick up first party stuff, Fever, that kind of thing, and but if I jump in with both feet into Xenoblade Chronicles X, it's like, what else am I gonna be playing? Like, it's gonna literally take up all my time for the next probably 80 hours. So it's crazy. Nadine says there is no consistency. They just price per wanting on yes. Yep. There you go. There you go. Boom Mini says, I expected the upgrade to be 10, but I'm glad it's only 5, but I wish it was 0. So, I mean, that's like it the speaking of like expectations, Animal Crossing added a few things. More players for online. The megaphone, right? Like there were a few additions that are only available to Switch 2. This literally seems to be the same bump that is in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and it didn't cost anything. So it that's just where things seem a bit crazy. I was chatting with Johnny Bo today, and he's like, "I think the Switch 2 got delayed, and Xenoblade Chronicles X and Donkey Kong were supposed to be Switch 2 titles, and maybe that, or not that Donkey Kong wasn't, but that it was supposed to be out earlier. So, um, that Xenoblade Chronicles X and Donkey Kong were supposed to be out much earlier, and so maybe they're sitting on somewhat of a backlog of games. So, uh, Drew 64-bit says, sure, it should be $10, but for what they took into consideration for Switch owners already, who already have it. So it's only 20 for them, which is more appealing. Yet when it comes to Wonder, yeah, but I mean, I like I've I don't feel as eager to go and drop $20 on these games as I did like on like it like kind of those in that impulse buy or whatever that we've kind of chatted about. Like I want to know that there's more to these games. Like I really wanted Wonder to have more single player, right? That would have helped me justify that $20 price tag much more. Now I know we get to play through the game again, and there's going to be different, some differences, and we don't know really what those are yet. But I really just wanted more levels from that team because the first game was so fantastic. I just wanted more. Wanted more. My tune changed a bit with Mario Party Jamboree. I feel like there's actually a ton of fun to be had in that upgrade. I just hadn't gone in and really uh sunk my teeth into it. If you guys have that upgrade and you haven't tried like the mouse games where you're like on the roller coaster with four people, almost doing like an arcade style um shooter, like something like like Lethal Enforcer or what is it? Is it Time Crisis, I think is the other one, or Duck Hunt, if you will. There's a lot there's some fun to be had there, like, seriously fun. So, uh, Ink Goblin says, Switch Up was saying there's still a lot of technical limitations like pop-in, but it looks better. Oh, interesting. Yeah, interesting. Nay said, "Kirby was an extra 20. While it was fun, 20 was a little meh. Same with Donkey Kong." Yeah, it it's like they're kinda they're pushing the boundaries. They're and it may be and I think so I think the best way to put it, I feel like we all kinda have a different level of what that boundary is. Like, for some people, they've crossed that boundary, and there's like, I'm not spending money. I'm not spending my hard-earned money on this kinda stuff. For me, that's like, like, where I've gotta be talking about it. I wanna stay up to date on things, that kinda stuff. I'm feeling the hesitation. Like, a and I'm not just sitting here saying, "Go and buy all these upgrades. They're great." Like, Donkey Kong felt like a $15 DLC at most, and I got it for like, Nintendo sent that to me, and even with that, like, I had a hard time telling people, "Go out and get it." There's fun to be had if you like, especially if you're into those kinda mini games. But I would have much preferred to go onto Kong Island and have some kind of a mission there, some kind of a boss fight, some kind of of an extra story mission. I think it would have been better. When DLC feels like it's just something that's tacked on or should have been there from the launch, it's a little tough to pay for it. The $5, like, it feels more it feels more fair, and, like, I mean, it's like it's cool. I'll do it, but it's that consistency of, like, why is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 free? Seems like the same thing, but this one's 5. Now, I think there are rumors floating around out there that there's going to be Switch 2 versions of all of the games, so maybe they're going to do more to 3. It's gonna be $5. 2, potentially, it'll be $5. 1, it'll be $5, and and then they can put out Switch 2 versions of the games in retail. So, um, you know, so just kind of wait and see. I want to grab a few chats here. Uh, Truebit says, "I think they're saving the single player for Mario Wonder 2." I'm all about it. I'm ready. They can release it now. Joey says, "Yeah, Bonanza was 20 DLC, but for me, it was well worth it. But to others, yeah. I mean, if you love Donkey Kong, which you do, like I get it. Nate and Nate said, especially when we got Bowser's Fury for free, Nintendo trained you. Yeah, see, it's kind of those the expectations. Like w- w- what expectations are they setting for us? And so I get it. I get it. Nate and Nate says they trained him not to eat everything up. Yeah. And I'm kind of feeling that. I'm kind of feeling that myself. Joey says I spent so much time on Kong Island, I didn't need missions or anything. And that's I mean, that's cool, you know. And mine's been getting a ton of work, getting a ton of play from uh from Jasmine's son. He's been loving the DK DLC. So Jason says I love the DK DLC. There's a special boss at the end. You need a lot of points to get there. Like, that's and so that's cool. That's definitely cool. Joey says, "I bet it's variable from free to 20 just to get people to talk Nintendo, while knowing diehards of the franchise, upgrade will get it regardless, like me with Bonanza." Oh, yeah. Boo Mini says, "I passed on the DK DLC." Ink Goblin says maybe it's whatever they want to have, whenever they want to have a box on the shelf at Walmart, is that it gets the official Switch 2 version. And I mean, that's kind of what it seems like. Animal Crossing, Switch 2 edition, getting the big red cases, putting them in the new like it starts to fill out the shelves better in retail, like Target, Walmart, Best Buy, that kind of thing. So uh, Nate said in the whole Virtual Boy thing, look, I have no problem with you wanting my money, but don't make it super in my face obvious. I get it. I get it. It says that's the kind of line drawing for me, and I rarely have any boundaries. Yeah. Yeah. What on the flip side of it, shout out to Nick, one of our regular listeners. He was texting me today and he's like, "I'm loving Virtual Boy." He goes, "I never got to experience it. It feels like getting a piece of Nintendo's history and like I'm having fun with it. And, I don't plan on canceling my membership anytime soon or ever." And so like it was cool to have that, like to hear perspective of people that are having a good time with it, that are enjoying it, that they do feel like they're getting their money's worth with it. But it's not going to be everybody. It's just not. He was also saying that he's like really excited, thinking that this may point to Nintendo doing things like the DS and 3DS and Wii, and really trying to get their whole library of games onto Switch too. Um, which I would be, I would be, I'd be all about it. So, True 64-bit said, "I'm excited for Mario Kart DLC because it's been needing some attention lately." Yes, 100%. Yes, it really, really does. We need some Mario Kart World needs some love, no question. Little injection of life into it would be great. So, um, Jason says, "Sad DK story. I accidentally deleted my main save in Donkey Kong Bonanza a week after the DLC. Oh no." Oh, no. That's no good. And Boomini says, "I'm definitely being picky now with the games I buy." Yeah, for sure. I get it, and I think that's a lot of people. I think it's, I think a lot of people are in that boat right now where they're just being more particular. Nate says, "Yes, I love buying a new console to buy 30-year-old games," right? No, and I mean, that's, like I will say, like, there may not be the games that everybody is like really really wanting, 3D Zelda, 3D Mario. Mario Kart may be falling a little bit flat for what most people were hoping, that they would have a bit more of a long tail. Um, but I kind of want, like, hats off to Nintendo for doing so many Switch 2 games already. Right? And then doing versions of, like, I mean, the Galaxy bundle, and that they're Switch to, they get the Switch 2 upgrade for free. Like, that kind of stuff is fantastic. So I think it's navigating new waters. It's them having a console that is a 2, right? It's not just I mean, we had the Wii and the Wii U, but it was just kind of like backwards compatible. They weren't really nobody was really focusing on like the Wii U up-resed graphics, that kind of thing. It wasn't really we weren't in the same it definitely just was not the same. And so now, that the system is so much more powerful than the last one. And I mean, what does the $5 do for them? Like, does it even justify does it justify the development costs? And what do those numbers look like? I mean, they're sitting on piles of cash, so do they need it? No, but I mean, that's obviously not how business works either. So, uh Ian Goblin says, you check out Pragmata demo yet? It's my most type game. I haven't played it yet, but I mean, even just watching the videos, I'm like, this looks like something I would really enjoy. It really gives me Lost Planet vibes. That's really what I get from it. Steak says, um, Super Switch would have been cool. Oh yes. Oh yes. All right, I'm gonna read this one. Hopefully, let's see. Imaginator, what's going on? Says being a Nintendo fan is like having a drunk best friend. Sometimes you love them, sometimes you hate them, but every day is a brand new, unpredictable adventure. There you go. There you go. Brandon saying Pragmata was such a fun demo as well. Can't wait for that one. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff indeed. So, like, uh, I'm at the end of the day, I'm excited that like to wake up to this news, it was it was great. It was great. I'm glad that this game got the upgrade. You know, I wanna start chipping away at it a little bit more. Like it got me excited to jump back into this because I kind of I wanna finish X before I go and finish 3 because I'm it's one of those things I almost feel like I'm savoring 3 because I know what the DLC like I haven't like, necessarily had any spoilers, but I know who's in it. So, uh I also love mechs, and so I can't wait to finally unlock mechs in Xenoblade Chronicles X, and so getting to play it, in the best way possible is good. It's good. Boo Mini says, "Off topic, but do you think we'll get a direct in March?" I do. I do. I think because Duskbloods is a exclusive to Switch, that it doesn't necessarily fall into the partner showcase, but would be better shown at a mainline direct. And if it's truly coming out March 27th, I think without a doubt there's going to be some kind of a direct before the launch of that game. So there's a lot there's a lot hanging on that. Like if all of that is true, then I think potentially yes. Um uh we will see something. So Ink Goblin says need that Smash Bros Switch 2 version now. So they did remember Smash Bros had like a bit of compatibility issues. So there is a few they did do a few tweaks to Smash, but it's one of those things. If we see a Smash 2 version come out, more than likely it's gonna be $20. There's gonna be more characters, and that's also gonna potentially mean that uh we won't see we won't see another Smash game for quite some time, like potentially. So, um, Joey said second Tuesday in March we will get a direct. There we go. All right. Shadow Flare says I feel like the $5 exists because they know Xenoblade fans are few but passionate. These games don't sell comparably well compared to other Nintendo games, so it probably gives them needed money. Yeah, and like we were talking about earlier too, like I think we're kind of the mind if like a Switch 2 edition is coming out, it puts more in retail. And that's also part of their strategy. They want to have more games in retail because they move more product from people coming in and just there are plenty of gamers out there that do not listen to podcasts, do not watch YouTube. They just walk into Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and go, "Oh, what's this? It looks cool. Let me get it. Let me see what's on let me see what's on the back of the box. What does it look like? And yeah, let me pick it up." So that still is happening. It'll probably this is probably the last generation that that's going to be the case. But um, Spence said Wii U 2 is giving me Nintendo Switch 2 vibes. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Jason says I don't need a 3D Mario for a while. My Wii version got scratched, um, so now I play on Switch 2. There you go. Joey says, which comes first, Smash Switch upgrade or Diddy Kong in Mario Kart World? Oof. Hopefully Diddy Kong in Mario Kart World. Hopefully that's the very first update. Ink Goblin says, I would love a new Smash, but I don't know what in the world you do next. Yeah, that's a good question. Boo Mini said, we all got by Nash Weedle. Oh yeah. Nadine A says, I played more Switch 1 games on my Switch 2 than Switch 2 games, and that has to change for me. I understand that. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You want they really haven't they really haven't found that sweet spot for you. I know you did DK. I know Mario Kart's kind of been a bit of a miss, but outside of that, like there hasn't been a lot for you. So I understand. Shadowflare says, do you think Xenoblade X is getting such a focus because Xenoblade X2 is Monolith Soft's next focus? Potentially. I think part of it is that that it's the most recent, so there still may be some on store shelves. And yeah, I'm thinking it may have to do just with that it was the most recent. If they are making a sequel to it, then maybe, yeah, maybe that is the case. Maybe there's an announcement happening sooner than later where we get to, there'll be a Xenoblade Chronicles X2, and that's part of the reason for going this route. Part of me wonders if they don't do like a Xenoblade Chronicles collection that's for the Switch 2 that has the first 3 games, potentially, just with the up-res graphics. Like, I don't know what the play is here. It was like, I know it's been rumored, like I remember talking about it a few months ago. So and from if I remember the rumors correctly, it was all the games getting Switch 2 editions. But I mean, again, rumors, so this could literally be the only one, but I do hope it's not the case. I hope there is like Steak said like a trilogy bundle. Like I would love it. Shadowflare says I can see a collection at 100, but people getting mad, but people buying. I mean, the series I mentioned earlier, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, got me back into this JRPG style of game. Like it literally, I fell in love with it because of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and then went back and beat 1. I still like 2 better, but 1 has an incredible story that I would love for more and more people to experience because it's so good. Like so good. I don't have many amiibo open, but I have a Mithra and Pyra amiibo on my desk. Just because of how much like I wanted Mithra and Pyra in, or Rex or somebody in Smash from the rip. I was hoping that we would see some kind of see Xenoblade Chronicles 2 characters in Smash Ultimate. And so when they finally launched, I was super stoked. So Ink Goblin says a trilogy bundle would take 400 hours to get through with that DLC on top of that. Oh yeah, because of Torna and stuff as well. No doubt. No doubt. Shadowflare says 3 is so peak. I'm like 18 levels. I'm like level 18 in that one. So I'm excited to jump back in, but I want to finish X first now that it has the upgrade. So Nadine A says something like Fever Tennis at 70 seriously would would benefit from a demo. It really should have a demo and seems like an easy demo to curate. And it already has a demo in retail, so they've made it. They just need to release it to the masses. Like, the more demos, the better. And it's like a demo to me screams that you believe in your game. If you're afraid to put out a demo, it almost seems like, well, we wanted to see if you'll spend the money without playing it, you know. But if it's like if you really know you've got something incredible, put a demo out and let that be the carrot on the stick to get more people to purchase. That's that's my thought anyway. So and I've always kind of felt that way. I'm always like, if it's like when the embargo for reviews is like the day of launch, you're like, you're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody if you don't want reviews getting out there, because you should be building hype with reviews, not trying to hide that the game's not that great. So I don't know. That's just kind of one of my perspectives on demos. But that's gonna do it for tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you all so very much. I will see you guys for sure Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And next week, we're going to do a few special things because it is the beginning of the 9th season of this podcast. February 23rd, which was my grandmother's birthday, is when NPC started. So it's gonna be a fun week as we launch season 9. I'm hoping to get a guest lined up for next Thursday. So stay tuned for that. It should be good. So appreciate you all very much. And as always, you guys, play it loud.